Thank you for tuning in with Swissling TV. This is episode number 8. And we're so happy to have a guest here from the... Well, I want you to introduce yourself. Jason, from the...
Chico News and Review, Jason Cassidy. I'm the editor and only editorial employee at the Chico News and Review currently.
So the Chico News Review, I've been fan following it since they moved here. How long has it been in print?
It was in print. It started in 1977, so
Wow.
46 years in print. For most of that time, it's been a weekly paper, but we were monthly during the pandemic, and now we just had put out our last print issue, and we're online only.
Were people fighting for that issue? I know I grabbed the first one I saw and took it home. And
They've been going fast, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, we put out about 40,000 papers around, and normally, since we've been monthly, it takes the month for them to gradually all go away. They usually do all go away, but I bet you that we're probably already out.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
So we were just talking about there's the Reno News Review and the Sacramento News Review. How did it all start? Do you know?
Yes, it started with Chico in 77. A bunch of hippies and rebels from Chico State were a part of this paper called the Wildcat, and they rebelled and left the campus. And the university let them take all the gear and stuff. They just wanted them off the campus because they're rabble rousers. And they started the News and Review. In the 80s, they added the Sacramento News and Review, and then the Reno News and Review, and then the main offices eventually moved down to Sacramento. When COVID hit, everything changed. Everybody closed down at first. Reno opened back up under new ownership, and Sacramento, and now the Chico News Review are online only.
So Sacramento is also online only as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, Jason also put up this incredible, I don't know who started it, but you organized it always, that music event. That was just so much fun. It was the awards. How did that all start up?
It was the Chico Area Music Awards, or Cammys, they called it. And it started in Sacramento, the Sammys.
Sammys, right.
And the Sammys, Sacramento's a different market. And it was actually like a legitimate star maker. In Chico, we're such an insulated community. It was a fun and popular event. It was very ambitious at first. I think we did 12 shows in 3 weeks, and then a finale, and it was very exhausting. And eventually we'd whittle that down to just a big finale where we had a big party and gave out awards, and it's fun. And it was fun.
Awesome.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, that's right. Our band participated. It was so much fun always, because it really created some excitement. There was a lot of local bands that might have not had really a chance to go out and do such a thing, or have people come to a bigger venue where they were every genre, and then they had people vote. I mean, the whole thing about you're also voting for the best of Chico and all this stuff.
I mean, that whole rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. That was the nice thing about Cammys, is one promotional endeavor, but a lot of people benefited from that sort of thing, including the newspaper. We got tons of cred for helping out local bands.
Made a lot of people happy. It was always a great time. Did they totally stop that, or is that going to...
We did stop it. We had it scheduled at Sierra Nevada for spring of 2020, and of course we all know what happened, and that got canceled. And we haven't done it since, but in talking about this new direction, going online only, we'd like to include a couple of special events, special projects, and Best of Chico will still be here. That's good. Where everyone votes for their favorite stuff in town. And then we talked about Cammys or some kind of music endeavor.
Good.
Yeah, you should keep it going. Bring it back,
Yeah, I mean, it's it would be, we all know how to do it already. And we'd have to get some, we'd have to partner with local venues and stuff and lean on them a lot more than maybe we had in the past. But it's on the radar.
You probably know every local band and musician by name, I would imagine now.
To an extent, as we all get older, it's harder to know every young band that's coming. I try to pay attention and stay young that way, but
that's awesome. So the whole trend in general with print slowly going away, it makes me a little sad, to tell you the truth. It's same thing with retail stores sometimes starting to close up, and print. I mean, I was a little bit nostalgic and sad when the milk stores and the butchers started going away, and they all ended up in supermarkets. That's how old I am.
Sure.
And I really miss the mom and pop store situation. And we're kind of proud that our industry still supports mom and pop stores because our stuff doesn't really end up in the huge chains or in the big Amazon world because it comes and goes. It's not really a thing that somebody can grab and make. So we were just at a trade show in Vegas and we met a lot of our mom and pop stores. But that whole world, I think, might come back. I still have hope for it because people are going to be a little bit tired of total anonymous everything, and it'd be the fun of shopping in a store with an expert, is still an experience.
Oh, yeah.
And the experience of holding a paper in my hand, I don't know if the young generation will miss it because they never had it, maybe the next generation. But there's something about that. There's something about reading something in a paper rather than on a screen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That makes it much more personal? I don't know.
Yeah, you're connected to it, and it's part of your routine. It's part of your life. It's a physical
routine.
part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy for things on our phones just to be distractions.
Yeah.
And it's easy to scroll right past it.
That's right.
It's a lot more intentional if you pick up a book or pick up a newspaper.
Sure,
it's something in the physical world. You're not just swiping to the next thing. I mean, in a paper you could turn to the next story, the next article, but you're still reading the news and review or reading whatever it is that you've got. So
I mean, and selfishly, that's that's one of our fears and we never honestly put much resources into online. It was just a place to kind of park our print version when it came out. And now we're thinking about it more. We're thinking about things like that because someone picks this up and they read about the news story and they're like, oh, there's the calendar. I'll look at that real quick. Online, it's more challenging to get people to interact with the whole thing. They might just see a story and then not go anywhere else on the website. But I don't know, you're talking nostalgically, like some of that stuff comes back. Vinyl came back. CDs are coming back now.
I have hopes.
So we'll see. Yeah.
I have hopes for it.
And there are a lot of really, really rich people who are starting these foundations for just the purpose of reinvigorating community, small town, local media, because it's so important.
Yeah. It's so
and that's where, the democracy starts. And so we will be applying for some of those grants, as things go forward. But I mean, there's literally billions of dollars now being put into different programs.
Wow.
I always find it kind of disappointing when you open a local paper and it's just all wire news stories. Mm-hmm. There may be one or two local stories. And, I mean, that's just the nature of it being difficult to get good local reporting or people to invest in it or, I mean, it all has to be paid for one way or another.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. And there's the nice thing about being in the world of, alternative news media is we're in a network. It's kind of like, punk bands or, on tour. There's a network of people that they can all depend on. And we have the same thing. And so we can kind of share stories when they're meaningful for our area. So we do have a few, it's not really a wire, but it's like a nonprofit organizations like Cal Matters or Capital in Maine that we thankfully can use some of their stories for no charge because we're part of that network. And
awesome.
I mean, not to say that that's not interesting stuff.
Yeah. Just if it's the whole thing, then it's not community paper anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You ran or edited a paper for the university, right?
Yeah, I was at the Orion for a while.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which was really fun. A friend of mine was a reporter there, and he's like, "Hey, we really need a cartoonist for the opinion section."
Oh, okay.
And he knew I'd like to do art and stuff, although I'm not really much I don't really draw or do cartoonist stuff that much, but I thought, what the heck, it seems like fun. So I did that for a semester, and then somehow I became friends with the editorial staff, and next thing you know, I was art director the next semester.
Oh, okay.
Working with all the designers on putting the pages together.
Oh, cool. Right on.
I did that for 2 semesters, and then just being friends with the editorial staff, I ended up becoming managing editor of the whole paper for 1 semester after that, which was really fun, and kind of weird because I wasn't a journalism or PR student or anything, or even an English major, but somehow I just found myself into the world of the Orion, which was really wonderful. It was such a great thing that they have there. But I just found out that they stopped their print. Actually, it might have been 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
but they stopped printing.
I want to say they did a couple prints just to do it. But yeah, in general, they stopped it.
Yeah, it was a weekly paper, that was printed when I was there, and that was my main job, was to put that together and get it out. And it feels kind of sad to see that go away, but it doesn't mean they're not still pumping out articles.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice thing about college when it can do that, right? It offer you opportunities to try things. That's what it should be there for.
Right.
For us to test things out.
It was such a great resource to the school too, or is. Photographers, videographers, like PR people. There's so many different things to do at the Orion. You can really get some good experience, even if you're not just a journalism student.
Yeah, and I wasn't journalism either. I was an English major myself and came into it sideways. I took just one journalism class at Butte College just for the heck of it, and it was very fortuitous. The teacher was Tom Gascoigne.
Oh, okay.
He was the editor then of the Chico News Review, and so a couple years later, he said, "You should start writing for us." And so I wrote art stories because I was involved in the arts, and then that evolved into. I started there officially in 2003. Okay. So last year I celebrated 20 years.
And it's your show now.
Yeah. Now it's been whittled down. Unfortunately, like I said, the print's gone.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer. Some people lost their jobs, and thankfully, most everyone who did lose their jobs, for the most part, was very part-time. So it's some of the staying out of it, but still, it's a bummer to. And it's not. I have to force myself to get out of the second bedroom in my house and I can get out into the community because we don't have an office anymore, and so everything's produced out of there. We do have a tiny office that we can go meet up at, but it's just
you do it from your home then.
Yeah, mostly.
So now that you're at a digital media company, I suppose is what you are now. Are you doing more than articles? Are you looking into doing more like videos or podcasts or anything like that?
Slowly evolving. We're spending this month. This last print issue came out, so we're spending the rest of January just preparing ourselves and for this or doing the work for the transition. And so the first week in February, you'll start to see the fruits of it more online. We'll take one thing at a time. First is to have a really dynamic newsletter. That's what we're working on.
Yeah,
and then. Trying to include, whenever we do anything, include other forms of communicating whenever we can, not just written, so video or audio, and also cross-promoting with other local media. KZFR is the first obvious choice.
Yeah, sure.
We have a relationship with them, and
that's good.
So maybe if I do a Q&A with Big Mo the musician, I could write it in the paper for online, and also it could appear over the air.
Oh, that's good. That's a good combination.
KZFR. That's just one idea, but we're gonna. My iPhone will be out and filming everything. Everything that I do, just to see if it will make it play somehow.
Can't beat those things that work pretty good.
And collaborate with the community as much as possible.
That's all. That'll be the name of the game. That's how we'll succeed, is if we can.
Well, I tell you, for all the listeners that are out of Chico, not in this area, and don't know much about what goes on in our town, it's worth checking out the Chico News Review, because there's a lot going on in this town. It's a beautiful area. It's a incredible place here in Northern California. You can look us on the map and see where we are, what we're talking about. It's hard to beat this area. I moved here 30 years ago just to come visit a friend, and never left, because it's just incredible. And a lot of what's going on and what's happening, you can always find on the CNR, and with Jason Cassidy here getting all the news and what's happening. So it's definitely a great resource.
Chico makes it possible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just an awesome place, and we really thank you for all the dedicated work. It's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
He's just he does such a great job, and it's always been great to have a person like him to go to when it comes to the Chico News Review. And now we're going to hear more around the country, because it is online.
Yeah.
So there's some advantages to that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You guys out there from all over the world, you can come check it out. Much easier.
There's so much talk about, supporting local business, and people kind of can understand what that means, but it's just as important, I think, to support local journalism.
Sure.
And local media companies, because you're not going to find out from, the national news network what's happening in your community.
Exactly.
And what's happening in your community is what matters the most to you, really.
Oh, sure. And, there's something, like, I've never been a sales guy, but I always thought that I always heard their frustrations as the digital media came into the fore, and people said, I can make it look more beautiful and pretty and have video and stuff and have my ads online. And just to look at the numbers of who looks at that, if you're just talking locally, if you're not talking for something that's worldwide or whatever, the amount of people that pick up and read the newspaper is 10 times what you could get people look at your ad online. It's 40,000 papers, 100,000 people read it. And our website right now tracks at around 10,000 a month. And not all those 10,000 people don't look at every single ad.
Right.
Whereas people who look at the paper pass every ad as they're reading it. And there's people you could, in our community, like who have been advertising with us forever, who get it. They see that maybe something that's a little more glossy but less distribution is not better for them than something that's on newsprint and tons of distribution. So you're fighting this war of ideas that digital is it's new, it's replacing it, but it wasn't replacing it.
Right.
And it's been forced out because, for economic reasons. But
Is it mostly driven by the difficulty of selling ads?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we're free paper,
right?
And so ads were everything.
Folks, ads.
Yes.
This man right here. People will read the Chico News Review. If you have something to say,
absolutely,
something to show, call Jason Cassidy. And do they just? What's the website?
You can go JasonC at newsreview.com, and the website's chico.newsreview.com. And yeah, I mean, now's an exciting time for that too, because we are actively promoting our online site. So our newsletter subscriptions are through the roof.
Very good.
A lot of eyeballs are coming to see if we're going to make a go of it or not.
Yeah.
What about social media? You guys are on all the platforms?
Yeah. We just added Instagram. We're late to the show, but that's been the most. I've seen the most response on Instagram over anything, over YouTube, Facebook, and X or Twitter or whatever.
Right.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, Jason, you know what we do here? Of course, you know our business. Yeah. We've done some reporting on it, and there's a couple items that we're going to show these folks here today. And one of them is our water filter. Now, this is one of the most practical things in the world. Miles had mentioned you do not want to have unnecessary problems. If you go hiking and you drink out of the lake, giardia and all this kind of things, that'll put you on a toilet permanently. Yeah. It's not something you want to have to do. So you just carry this. And this might look a little familiar. Maybe you've seen the straw. But ours is better. And the reason why, first of all, it costs a little less. Second of all, it can actually do 5,000 liters? Is that correct?
Yes, it's got a 5,000 liter capacity. Yeah. So you can filter 5,000 liters of water through there.
Yeah, you can set 5,000 liters through a straw before you need to replace it.
Do you replace the whole thing, or is there a filter in there?
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just kind of drink right out of that. You can just either fill a cup with it and use it, or you can just bend right down to the creek or the river, and it'll take out 99.99% of everything. And there's a long list of things, bacteria that I can't pronounce, that it will take out. And it's from our brand, Hitco, which stands for Huffman International Trading Company.
Wow.
That's our brand, Hitco. And as you see on our website at swisslink.com, you'll see a bunch of Hitco items that we do. We do backpacks and some clothing. And if you buy something from Hitco, a percentage of the profits goes to a elephant sanctuary in Tennessee. You can read about that on our website. I have a soft spot for elephants, and there's this great place in Tennessee that actually takes in ailing or older or overworked or rescue elephants, and so they can live out their life in this beautiful place there in Tennessee. So
yeah, it's like a big wild preserve for them. Yeah. It's not just
it's awesome. It's a huge outdoor preserve.
Oh, Tennessee of all places.
Yes, of all places. They live on 1,000 acres there where they can roam, and they have pools they can go into, mud baths and all kinds of things.
You take the straw to that mud bath.
Yeah, you can.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
One cool thing about this that I kind of want to show off is the bottom of it has some threading here, which is somewhat standard to your soda bottles, water bottles, things like that. So you could screw that right onto where the cap would go, and then just drink straight out of your water bottle.
I mean, that would just seem like
fit everything,
essential. Like if you're gonna be outside anywhere,
you have to have it in your car. You have to have it in your backpack, and it's so light and easy. And water is the most important thing. Like Miles said in that other video the other day, when you're at this lake and you don't have it, you will drink that water.
Yeah.
And so it'd be really good if you have one of these with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might think that you're smart enough not to drink from the lake, but after 2 days, you will drink.
Exactly.
You will drink, yeah. And then and I tell you, if you don't have enough toilet paper with you, those leaves aren't really going to do it.
Just keep your bottom in the lake. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, when you're out there, you want to look at one of our blankets. We have a whole line. See, Jason, there's a Swiss Link Classic Blanket that we started in 1996, one of our brands.
That's beautiful.
And this is a copy of what happened, why we even got into the blanket business in the first place, is I had these blankets here that were Swiss Army blankets. You see the Swiss flag there.
Oh, yeah.
And the stripe. And this Swiss Army blanket was made from 1870s all the way through 1960s. And when the Army there minimized, they sold them off, and I bought them all, and literally hundreds of thousands of them. And over the last 30 years, I sold hundreds of thousands of them. And then suddenly there weren't any more.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, man, I miss this blanket business. I think I'm going to start making a copy. But then you're trying to copy something Swiss. That Swiss stuff is so good.
Yeah.
Like my Swiss watch here. I mean, you can't just copy something like that. So it took a long time to find the right place to make, and the right method, and the right consistency, and the wool to find a good blanket. So we do now. We make an awesome copy of this Swiss blanket. Oh. And any movie that you watch that's been made in Hollywood for the last 50 years, when they have a blanket they put on somebody somewhere, it's this blanket. Okay. From now on, you'll never miss it. You'll always see this red stripe in this blanket. You'll go, Maurice was talking about that.
Okay.
You don't really notice a blanket until you start selling some or hear this. But look, you'll see. So we have a bunch of blankets at swisslink.com. Miles is a graphic artist, so he actually designs all of our blankets, all of our patterns. We have some great tartans. We have beautiful Hudson Bay style blankets, Bay Point blankets. And here's the thing, folks. Blankets of this quality, if you look around on the internet, you'll find them for $300. But for us, they're in their $60 range. Ooh. So yeah, it's a big difference. Nice. And the feel of it and the quality of it, the 60 by 80 size, you can't go wrong with a Swiss Link Classic Blanket designed by Miles. We also have a pumpkin spice blanket he designed for the holiday.
I saw that one,
which is kind of cool. Yeah.
I was looking at your blankets online. I was interested in the ones that have like padding or something, so you can.
Yeah.
We have a picnic blanket, we call it, but it's really like just this blanket with a waterproof lining on the bottom.
Nice.
Yeah.
And grommets as well, so you could stake it down.
Use it on the beach. You could use it on wet grass or under your car. If something's wrong with your car, you got to work on your car. You have to lay under it.
Sure.
It keeps you. And wool will always keep you warm even if you're wet. That's a great thing about wool.
Yeah, we made these 80% wool so that they can still retain all those qualities of wool, but be a little bit softer to the touch, so they're not too itchy.
They're beautiful.
Yeah. And you can still wash it in cold water and hang it up and not end up with a handkerchief.
Yeah.
Speaking about wet, want to hand me that Flecktarn Gore-Tex set there?
Yeah.
Sympatex, they call it. The German Army, just like the Swiss, the German and the Swiss are known for their quality. And there is, of course, Gore-Tex. That was an American invention. And then the Germans came up with a Sympatex, which is a similar but even better material for the properties of keeping you dry and still breathable and very lightweight. And this particular camo is called Flecktarn. Fleck is the word for camo, for spots, and tarn is the word for camo. So it's spotted camo is what the Germans call it. And they had this camo for many decades. Now they switched to no, they still have it, I think. There might have been, some other units are switching, but all the Army units had Flecktarn. It's one of the most popular European camos. People love it. Just because the garments are great quality and fun to wear, but the look of it is also great for disappearing in the woods.
Yeah.
But this here is the Sympatex rain set. So this is like a bib. So you have a pant bib
with the suspenders.
Nice. And a zippered leg, so you can get in your boots and over your other clothes. You can wear it over your clothes. And then there's a reach-through zipper, so you can get into your pants underneath.
Nice.
And it's very lightweight. You can feel how light it is, but it's the toughest material there is. And it won't sweat. It breathes, and it's also good for water repellency, too. And then, of course, there's a parka, too. It's a hood. So it's a whole set. And you can find that at swisslink.com.
What's your mic there? You got it covered up.
You can find that at swisslink.com and order your Flecktarn Sympatex Rain set.
Yeah, one of the coolest things in the world about Surplus, in my opinion, why I like it so much, is that this is a Gore-Tex parka and a Gore-Tex bib, Sympatex, same thing, that you can buy the set for $90.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, you can't even get a...
You know, if anybody who likes skis or snowboards and knows the cost of these things, that's an unbelievably good
or if
price.
you just need to throw something on to go take the leaves out of the gutter or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gore-Tex is so expensive. If you had to buy this new, something like that, you're looking at $600.
Sure, yeah.
So that's the nice thing about Surplus. And the thing is, a lot of times what you buy for $600 is made somewhere, in mass production. And this is made in Germany for a soldier, for it to last for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's made tough.
In
It's
Germany.
made really good, made in Germany.
Right.
So, that really... it's an awesome item, and people know these items, so that we have them right here at swisslink.com. We just got a big shipment of it in, and never lasts long, so better get on it.
And we were talking about wool earlier, and I'm wearing a wool sweater right now. This is a Dutch Army commando sweater. Commando sweaters are the ones, that have the epaulets on the shoulders and the padded elbows. This one's a quarter zip on the front, but we have a lot of commando sweaters on swisslink.com right now, so I figured I would show that off. We got some British commando sweaters, Dutch commando sweaters, German commando sweaters, and we might even have some of our repro sweaters left. I'm not sure if we sold all those out yet.
Yeah, might be a few left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a wool sweater, swisslink.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of wool here. We believe in wool. Wool is awesome. We also have a wool pant that we make. You've seen that before. So check it out at swisslink.com, and then you can just go to the search and push Google. And Jason, Mr. Cassidy, we really thank you for coming today.
Absolutely, yeah, I appreciate it.
It was a real pleasure to talk to you and to learn about this big shift in news. And I'm sure what you're experiencing here is happening in every small town in America.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. So this is not just news for local people, but this is something for everybody to look forward to or reminisce about. I'm not sure yet what to say about it.
It's changing.
It's changing.
Yeah.
I hope there's still some hotels with a newspaper rack on a wooden stick that I can sit down with my coffee and my croissant in the morning.
Sure.
Because I really enjoy doing that. I hope there's still some of that around, but I have to admit that sometimes it's easier to look at on the phone too, and also the only way business works is advertise. Check with Jason Cassidy and spend your money wisely.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well, one more time, what's the website and the social media and stuff? How can we check it out?
Chico.newsreview.com, and we're on Instagram and Facebook and X, as well as we have a YouTube channel as well.
Okay, great. We'll check them all out.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Peace out.